Hey guys! In this video I'm going to experiment some more with this Kuretake Graphite Paste. On the bottle it says this graphite paste is a water-based medium, so I'm going to treat it like it's a watercolor, even though it's not. It's described as a paste or an ink, but whatever, let's just get started. And I'm going to use the hot press paper that came with the August Sketchbox. I'm working on a value scale and I'm simply adding more water to the pigment to make lighter values. Adding water to the paste also makes it less pasty and more fluid to work with. Now I'm using the wet on wet technique because I want to see how well this graphite paste spreads in water. So I'm just dropping pigment onto the wet area. You can see it creates these beautiful stone-like textures. One of my favorite ways of doing the wet on wet technique is adding drops of clear water to a wet pigmented layer. It creates these beautiful blooms. I have some salt on my desk. I'm curious to see how the salt technique will work on slightly diluted graphite paste. I'm going to let this dry while I do more wet-on-wet exercises. This is my attempt at painting a full moon with the graphite paste. I used a little too much water, but it's all good. I can just use a dry brush to absorb some of this water. I just drew an eye and we'll get back to that later. Now I want to compare the white charcoal pencil with a white gel pen. If you watched my previous video, you'll see where I used the white charcoal pencil on top of the graphite. The charcoal pencil did not leave any white marks on the graphite, but it did appear to burnish it. It left polish marks that are visible when light shines onto it directly. Now I'm going to use this white Pentel gel pen, and the ink actually shows up on top of the graphite. It almost looks three-dimensional. The salt is dry, so let's rub that off, and you can see the beautiful textures that were left on the graphite. Let's return to the eye. You can create 3D effects with the graphite paste, so I'm just going to use a brush to let the paste drip over the eye. I'm just trying to be a little creative here. It actually took a while for this to dry, and I would not recommend exposing this to high heat so it can dry faster. Just let it dry on its own. Let's move on to the fun part, where we experiment with graphite paste and watercolor. I'm going to use a tube of quinacridone rose watercolor from Opus. Opus is a Canadian art supply store, and I'll provide a link to their website in the description. But look how nicely the watercolor and the watered down graphite paste mix together. Let's try this with 3 more colors: ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow, and phthalo green. According to the bottle, you can pair this graphite paste with other mediums, but I really like how it interacts with the watercolor. What do you guys think of this Kuretake Graphite Paste? Have you tried it before? And if so, did you use it with any other medium? Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget I have a giveaway coming up once I reach 500 subscribers. If you made it this far in the video, leave a rock emoji. I'll see you soon.